Hey everybody, it's Jesse. Today we are going to work on material design style cards. So I have the documentation from Google for material design here, and it's open to the cards page. So if you don't know about material design or you haven't read about cards in particular, I recommend taking a look. It's material.io. That's the site. So I'm not going to go in depth into a lot of things about why we use cards. Hey guys, some people were saying hi in the live stream. Thanks for watching. Uh, Before I start, I want to go over a couple of things. At the end of the live stream yesterday, I had somebody ask about tips, like money, giving money. I think I did ask for tips, but I meant advice. So I'm not actually asking for money, just advice. So I really appreciate the generosity of people wanting to give tips, but for now, advice is fine. Hey, I'm doing all right. Thanks for asking. I also want to thank you guys. I did get a lot of good advice, so that was awesome. In particular, I want to thank 4 people who either sent me some really good links or even went farther and taught me how to do something since yesterday's live stream. So sorry if I mispronounce any of your names, but I want to thank Bill Dyer, programmer from Texas Tech, Alan Neese, Oscar Diaz, and Martin Mestrovic. So they all provided a lot of good help. So thank you. I appreciate that a lot. And I've checked out all the links and everything you guys sent me. So I may need to learn a little bit more about it before I implement it, but they're all really cool stuff, and I definitely want to learn more about it. Also, between yesterday's video and the day before, we've had over 8,000 views, so that's awesome. It's just crazy to think about that many people want to watch this video. Also, I've put some links in the description, so if you want the link to the source code that we're working on, it's in the description. It's a GitHub repo. Feel free to clone that repo. You could submit a pull request, whatever you want. The link to the GitHub Pages site where you can actually see what I'm working on, see the site, is in there, and then a bunch of other links. Link to my YouTube channel and to some of the other things that I'm using, my code editor, the framework I'm using. So, all right. Somebody asked again for tips. No, I don't want any tips right now. I really appreciate that, but I think I said this yesterday at the end of the video. So if you missed it, I'm actually doing these live streams from work. So I'm getting paid right now doing work. My boss is awesome and recognizes the value in this sort of thing, and so he's letting me do this. So I don't really feel comfortable getting tips while I'm doing this. Maybe if I start doing more videos and taking some of my time at home, then I'll want tips. Probably my wife will definitely want me to get tips at that point because she'll have to watch the kids while I do these videos. I guess I could take euros. Somebody asked about euros. I don't know. I guess I can convert it. But right now I'm not doing tips. I want to be your friend. You guys are great in the live stream right now. I'm going to stop watching the live stream for a little bit so I can get started on this. In terms of apprentice, actually, I'm working on getting an internship program started where I'm at. So I'm in the marketing department at Franciscan University. I do also do work on the side. I kind of have a company, Jesse Weigel Digital Marketing, that I haven't really been doing any advertising for a while, but I do some work on the side through them. So I guess if anybody's really interested in doing some work with me, or let me know in the comments, or send me a direct message on Twitter or something. Okay, so like I said, we're going to work on material design cards. Just basic overview in case you're not familiar with cards. The they have a certain box shadow, so it looks like they're lifted off the page, and they're a container for content, and they help to separate one piece of content from another. If you've ever used any Google apps on Android, then you've seen cards. And they're not just from Google apps. A lot of different sites are adopting this. A lot of apps on Android, even those not made by Google, adopt this. And then a lot of websites too. I use the Materialize framework, and that it's basically like Bootstrap or Foundation, except it uses material design principles. All right, we got greetings from the Philippines. Hey, that's awesome. You're watching from the Philippines. What time is it there? Let me show you an example. Okay, so instead of me talking about a card and not showing you, this is a card. This is Google's first example of a card. So if you weren't sure what I was talking about, maybe you've seen this, right? All right, so enough about that. Let me show you what we're going to be working on. So this is what I need to turn into a card. This is the old site that I'm working off of. That's semi-finished, and we're turning it into a different site. So in the context of this work, we're going to go over some basics of material design cards. So this is an example of a card we already did. This is just a full image, and when you click it, it actually allows you to put in some more info. So that's a decent example of a card. The first card we're going to do, I'm going to try to get through as many types of cards as I can in this 2:06 a.m. in the Philippines. Awesome. Wow, thanks for watching so late. I'm going to try to get through as many different types of cards as I can, just to show you kind of how I do cards. And all my cards are really based off of what the Materialize framework provides at first, and then I just modify it to meet my needs. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, this section here has logos. You can see some of them are on a white background, some of them are just on this cream colored background. They're not really uniform in size, so they're kind of mixed up, not really a clean look. It's not the look we're going for. So the plan is take each one of these, put them in a square card with a white background. So, you know, some of these already have the white backgrounds, so we're just going to make them all have white so that they're uniform. And they're going to have the same type of shadow like these ones have. When you hover over them, they're going to pop out a little bit. That's kind of a visual cue that, hey, this is clickable. Also, they'll have the little change in the cursor. And we're just going to put them, I don't know, maybe 4 across. There might be an odd one out there. We'll see. And they're all going to link to these different websites. All right, so let's get started and build one of these cards. Let me move this off the screen, make some room. Let's see, I'll move this off for now. So I'm sure you guys all do this too, but I rarely ever write code from scratch anymore, right? You just always borrow stuff from your old work or from other people's stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do is find that section where we had these cards on the home page. This is the, oh, I'm on the wrong page, sorry. This is the index page. Since yesterday I did do some stuff, I guess I should update you so it's not a surprise. I made pages for all the different pages in the site. They're basically just copies with not a lot of stuff in them. I removed the parallax effect from the header. I had a meeting today with some of the people that I'm building the site for, and it went really well. I got a lot of good information, but one of the things that they did not want was the parallax effect. So basically, the parallax effect made it seem like this was in the background and it was being covered over by the rest of the site. So this is like a religious institution. This monstrance is very sacred for Catholics, so they didn't want that appearance that it was being covered over. But we did incorporate parallax down below, so they had this this cross. This is called a San Damiano cross or crucifix. They had this actually over top of these images, but I think it was cluttered, so we moved it here. I don't remember if I had this finished for yesterday's video. I moved it here and had a parallax effect, and it's a nice kind of like reveal effect. So that's a lot of what I did, a lot of kind of minor things, and time spent in meetings. So not a whole lot of changes. So let me regards from Everest. All right, hi from the Caribbean. Awesome. How's the weather in the Caribbean? I bet it's nice. It's really rainy and kind of a little bit cold here. Maybe 60 degrees and rain all day. But I'm in Ohio, so I'm actually really close to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. If anybody knows where that's at, but I'm in a little city on the eastern side of Ohio. All right, let me find this that I was trying to do a couple minutes ago. Here we go. Okay, so we have these cards. I'm just going to copy this because the card we're going to make is going to be similar. So let's go ahead and just copy this whole section. Yeah, let's copy this whole thing. I want to see where this actually ends. Okay. Copying the section, and now let's go over to the About page. So we did have, this page was called Our Mission, but we're changing it to the About page because it not only has information about the mission, but it also has some pictures of the people, three of the people in charge, and it has those different organizations that are collaborators that I just showed you a minute ago. So discussed it at the meeting this morning, and we thought, well, maybe About would be a better term for that since the page does a lot more than just say the mission, and we already have the mission statement on the home page anyway. So let's find the About page, and let's go. I have some sections already here that I just copied over. So let's see. This is a white background section. This will work. And we'll just copy in what we had here. And let me show you some of the markup so you can see it. Some of it might be a little weird because I've added things in. So let's cut it down here. What I don't want is this card reveal. So let's get rid of some stuff first just to simplify things. And oops, I don't need this class activator or this class. If you're interested in any of the stuff that I've done so far, if you look at the commit history in the repo, you'll be able to see everything that gets done between videos, so you won't miss anything. I try to be as descriptive as I can in my commits. Hey, we got somebody from Pittsburgh. All right. I actually grew up in Weirton. I don't know if you know where that is. The M. Herman from Pittsburgh. So it's actually the city in West Virginia that's really north that borders Pennsylvania and Ohio. So I'm about a half-hour drive from Pittsburgh. I can actually get to the west side of Pittsburgh in about 20-25 minutes. So awesome. It's so cool to have people from so many different places. So that's awesome to see. I know I'm missing a lot of stuff, I'm sure, in the live chat. I do go back afterwards and I read everything in the live chat. So I will see what you said. I might not see it until later. If you have a question, though, put it in the comments so that I can reply to it later on if I don't see it in the live chat. Okay, so basically I just removed that little part that was the part that got revealed. I'll bring it back in to show you. So I had this reveal. I removed that part because we're not going to use it for this next set of cards. I'll clean it up a little bit. We still want it to be hoverable. We're still giving this card the style of cursor pointer. Normally, you don't really want to put style tags right in here. In this case, it's just easier to show you what to do. Also, eventually, all this, I'm going to convert it to React components, and I am not really against putting style tags directly into React components. I'll probably do a better way than that, though, but at first, this will make it easier to transition over. Okay, so the only other thing we have going on here is we have this in a row, we have it in columns. That's just the column classes for materialize. All we're really worried about here, let me separate it out so we can see. I'll put some spaces in. The actual part that's the card is just this stuff here. So we just have two divs and a span in there for a title. We're actually going to take this out because we don't even want a title. This is just a straight image card that we're going to do. And this is such a basic example. It's probably in the materialized documentation as well, and you could just copy and paste from there. The only other weird thing we have going on is we're using source set to do some responsive images. I went over this in a previous video that I did on my channel. So if you can check that out, I'll go in more depth. I think I'm going to do maybe a pre-recorded video on this at some point, so you don't have to sift through a whole half-hour live stream to find when I went over this. But basically all we're doing here is just putting in a different image depending on screen width and resolution. But in this case, let's switch out. I did copy over some of those logos. So let's check out our image folder, and let's take, I'm going to take a logo that has a short name. All right, OSV logo. So I'm going to switch this out to, what was that? We'll do OSV logo dot png. And at this point, none of these are really optimized. They haven't been compressed or anything. We're just kind of seeing how it all goes. Let me go to that page so we can see. That's the About page now. I'll bring it over on the other screen so everybody can see it. Okay, somebody's asking about React. I know I've been talking about React every video. I was just thinking about that earlier. We are definitely going to do React, but it's probably going to be next week. There's a possibility if I don't think I can get it ready by launch, which needs to be some point next week, there may be some delay at the printer for some other marketing for this site, so we may get an extension on the date when this has to go live, but I'm assuming it has to be live by the 13th of this month. If I can't get it converted over to React in that amount of time, I'm just going to put up the static site. That's why we're doing the static site first. If that's the case, then it's possible I won't get to React till the week after that, but I definitely will. I'm looking forward to it as well. I haven't worked with it in a couple of weeks, and I really miss it. I don't know if anybody has worked with React, but it's for me at least, it was kind of hard to wrap my mind around it first, but then once I really got into it, it was cool. I liked it. It was fun to work with, and I kind of don't want to go back to anything else after that. But you got to use. Sometimes it's overkill to use React sometimes when you don't have to. Zimbabwe, awesome. We got a viewer from Zimbabwe. Okay, so you can see basically what happened. This is the card, and we don't have that. If you I forgot to put it on this screen. Sorry, guys. Okay, so now you can see what happened. We put that logo in there. I'm clicking it right now, and that effect's not happening because we took all that out. The only thing we want to add, though, is we want to add a link. So let's pop in an A tag, and so this is, I don't prepare this stuff ahead of time. We're just doing it on the go. So just so you know, I'm trying things out. Sometimes they don't always work. So I don't remember exactly how I usually do this with the A tag. So let's just put, should I put it here or should I make the image? I think the best thing is going to be to wrap this image in the A tag. Yeah, I think that's how I usually do it. For now, I don't remember what this address is for this site, so I'm just going to put a hash in there as a placeholder. Whenever you're doing a link, always put the title in. Because for screen readers, for people who have vision impairment and things, you want that title in. Also, if somebody hovers over the link, it'll pop up. So always keep that in mind that people have different needs for when they're viewing a website. So it only takes an extra second but it could really mean a lot to somebody who's trying to view your site. Also, I like to use target blank if somebody's leaving the site. I don't always use this. Sometimes it can be annoying to people. It just depends on the context, but in this case, well, sorry about that. I just scrolled over. I hope nobody's motion sick because I'm kind of move the windows around a lot. I know I get motion sick really easily, so especially like all the new virtual reality stuff, I can't handle most of it. So I apologize if all my moving around of these windows is making anybody sick. Okay, so I just saved that. It auto refreshes. I'm using Gulp to live reload this. Okay, so we can see as I hover over that, it's going to be really tiny on your screen, but maybe you can make out down in the bottom left corner, it's showing me that there's a URL when I hover over this. So that's a link. So this entire card now is a link. It has this cool hover effect. It also has did we put a click effect? No, we didn't. With Materialize, there's the option to have like some click effects. So when you click on something, you get like some waves. Let's see if it's doing it here. There we go. It's hard to see there. I don't know if you can see it. I'm gonna do it one more time. It has like this wave that's just emanating from the point where you click. So why two divs? Somebody asked why two divs for this card? Why not add class card image within the first div? Okay, so part of the reason why I use this structure, well, really the entire reason why I use this structure is since I'm using a framework, Materialize, I use the structure that they recommend in their documentation. So in their documentation, you do have it. If I were making this card myself, you're right. It would be so much more simple to just do one div. There are some occasions when I do have the cards, I make them myself. Usually when I want to make sure that cards are all exactly the same height, it's easier for me to do that if I have just the card be one div. So I have done that on occasion, but in this case, this is just the markup that is required for the framework. But in general, I like to use less markup if possible. We had somebody says hi from Iraq, so awesome. That's just I can't believe we're covering like all parts of the world here, so. That's great. Also, why do you tab over the image element? Why not keep the and image element on the same tab level? Yeah, that's a good point. The only reason I did it like this is because this image is. Let me read that question out loud. Somebody asked, why did I separate this A element and the image element? Why not just leave it on one line? If they were smaller, I would definitely leave it on one line. But since I have so much here and I already can't even see the end of it, I put them out on different lines so that I can, because usually when I'm editing, it looks more like this. So I can see the CSS or the JavaScript and the HTML at the same time. So if it's going to be really long, I'd rather see it. But yeah, in general, you can just put the image tag and the A tag on the same line. That comes from style. It depends on what you're doing. If you work somewhere where there's like a style for coding like that's strictly enforced, you got to go with that. I don't have that where I'm at least not yet. I'd like to develop it for when we start getting some interns or student workers or things. But for now, I can kind of do what I want. So I try to be as consistent as I can be, but occasionally I'm not. Sometimes you're just in a hurry and you forget how to do things. All right, so the only other thing that I'd want to do with this card is, I definitely don't want it this big. I'd shrink it down. I'm going to try to fit maybe 4 cards on a line. But I want to jump over to something a little bit more complex. This is a really simple example, and if you didn't follow it all, just check out the source code on GitHub. I'm going to commit all the stuff from this live stream as quick as I can after this live stream, and then also I'll be working on all the things I'm saying that I'm going to do today, so hopefully it'll all be done by the end of the day today. So we don't have a lot of time left, so let's try to get started on this other card as soon as possible. I'm going to flip over. I use Trello for my kind of personal project management here. So we wanted to make cards for collaborators. That's just what we did. Oh, I almost forgot. I need your help. We need, based on feedback from the meeting this morning, did a little demo. We need a different font for the headers. So real quick, I want to show you. This is the font for the headers that I'm using now. It's just Roboto. So we want a different font, and I'll show you what the font is used on the old site. This is the font that's used. It's EB Garamond. So I have two fonts that I'm thinking about using. Let me switch. So this is the EB Garamond. This is what's being used right now. And this is a font I found. What is it called? Cinzel? Okay. I kind of really like this bottom font. The thin version of it really struck me that I liked it and I thought it might work for this site. But I know, I already know this font would work because this font was already chosen by the people who are in charge of this department that I'm doing the site for. Okay, but if I can find a font that's even better, I can show them, and maybe they'll prefer that. So, I mean, I already told you my preference. Let me know, because it's not always about what I think looks good. I love to get second opinions. So let me know in the comments, if you can, which font you prefer. The one on the top is EB Garamond. The one on the bottom is Cinzel. You can find those both on Google Fonts if you want to take a look at them in more depth. Or if you have another font that looks similar to these fonts that you think would be even better, let me know. At this point, I can hold off a little while longer before changing the font on these headers, so I'm open to suggestions. Okay, we got 3 minutes. Let's get something done in 3 minutes. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is cards for resources. Okay, let's switch this over, and let me show you the resource page quickly. It probably doesn't matter. There's really nothing on the resource page right now, but I'll show you anyway. This is the resource page on the old site. Basically, there's going to be two categories. There's going to be free resources and resources that you have to pay for. So the trick is we need to come up with a card that is going to be able to work for any data type. So these resources are going to end up being, they could be links to text articles. Okay. The menu links only work on the home page for right now. Since this will probably get changed into React, I don't really see the point in building everything out on every page. The home page will be the most complete, and then this nav will be its own component that will just get reused everywhere. If we end up not having time for that, then we'll just hurry up and copy and paste it all over. Okay, I don't know why I just needed to click on that, because it still has all this basic stuff that I copied to all the pages. But okay, it looks like some people. Oh man, we got people for both fonts. So this might be tough. We might have a tie here, and I'm just gonna have to decide anyway. If we do have a tie, I don't know what I'll do. Maybe I'll use both fonts on different pages and then see what everybody likes that's actually in charge of this department, and see what they think. But basically, we need a card that's going to be able to display video embeds from YouTube, text, probably a link to a text article, images, if we have a good image to put with it, or audio. So it's going to need like a title, space for an image, space for a title, probably a button somewhere for a link. And you can see, here's what, you don't really put buttons on cards. Google puts, we have these little things. So you don't put like a raised button on a card in material design. You can potentially put, I've seen it done where you put like a little round action button somewhere here on a card, but I don't think we'll need that. I don't think that'll be necessary. So I'm thinking a card like this would work. We could have an optional image that would maybe be there, maybe not, depending on whether one gets uploaded. This works. It has a title. Yeah, we definitely need a short description so people know what it is. And I wonder if it would be worth it to differentiate between cards somehow so that people know right away whether this is a paid resource or a free resource. I don't know what the best way would be. I'm thinking maybe I don't want to do a completely different color, but maybe some sort of indication somewhere on the card so that they can know at a glance. I'll have to think about that. Maybe an icon from I guess the marketer in me is thinking don't mark the paid ones, instead mark the free ones as free, and then people will think, hey, this is awesome, it's free. But if they see the paid thing, then it'll say, oh, that stinks, I have to pay for it. So that's just me thinking. It's more positive to see a label that says free than a label that says you got to pay for this. I don't know. At least that's what a small key icon would work. Okay, a small key icon. Yeah, that's cool. Actually, that's a good idea. I should just look through some icons and see if there's an icon that would work. Yeah, a little icon that would either maybe go at the end of the title. I was actually thinking like, kind of a little banner right here, but I think the key would be easier to implement and would look nice. Great, that's a great idea. Thank you, Claude B, for that idea. All right, I know I got to be run. Yeah, I'm already over on time, so sorry about that. I really wanted to actually start to build this card out, but I got sidetracked with the fonts. But I really do want your help with deciding on the fonts because I could spend forever looking at fonts, and I don't have that time right now. So thanks for watching. Thank you for everybody being so awesome in the live chat and for interacting with me and giving me great ideas. Also, it was really cool you guys kind of shouted out where you were from. I really liked that. That was fun. So I will be back. Well, today's Friday, so have a great weekend. I will live stream again on Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern time, same time, and maybe I'll save. I don't have to work on these cards. I have a lot of other stuff on the site that I could work on that maybe isn't as exciting. So probably on Monday, we can work on cards, or if I find something else that I think will be interesting, maybe we'll do that. If you have any topics that you really want me to talk about, let me know. If it's something that I'm going to do for this site, I can work it in. Ending? Yeah, the stream's ending. I just streamed for a half an hour. I don't want to put people through a super long video when they go to watch the recording, so I just do a half hour. And also, I work a lot slower when I have to narrate, so if I did this all day, I'd get way less work done. That task manager I was using is Trello. I'll write that down. I'll put a link to it in the description. It's a free thing, and it just lets me do that. Actually, GitHub added something similar to that. So there's a feature on GitHub that does that as well. I haven't had time to use it yet. I may switch to that at some point since I'm already using GitHub. But for right now, I'm used to Trello. So maybe I'll do a video on how I manage my stuff, a short video on it at some point. If you guys want that, let me know. Is Trello useful for solo projects? Yeah, sorry if I don't want this video to go too long, but if you still have questions, I'll answer questions for a couple more minutes. Let's see, is Trello useful for your solo projects? Yes, Trello is definitely useful for solo projects. I'll just show you quickly. Let me move this off the screen. Like I said, I'd like to maybe do a video on this, but just really quickly to show you. Let me see if I can make this bigger so you can see the font. Okay, so I have it separated into these lists. So in Trello, everything's in a list and then cards. So I have to do, ready for development, in progress, testing, and done. Every task is broken up into these lists, into these cards. And so I can open it up. I can put, this was the font task. So I had the links to those fonts I showed you in here. You can attach files and pictures and things. If I was working in a team, I could assign a task to somebody, and they'd be able to see it too. And you could, share your boards with your team or whoever you need to. You could even share it with your clients if you wanted them to see the progress and have them. You could maybe put a screenshot in or something and ask their opinion on something, or have them add things. So it's really cool. Like I said, even if it's solo, I use it pretty much solo all the time. In my department, we have a different project management system that we use for the whole department. It's called Rike. So I update tasks in there, but no one else in my department really cares or needs to know all the little tasks. So for that, I use this because it's just so fast. I also have these little numbers here. These are Pomodoro cycles. So every 25 minutes, I take a little break. I have a timer for that. So I estimate how many 25-minute periods each of these tasks will take. So for right now, to create the cards for the resources, which we were just talking about, I estimate that it would take me 3 25-minute periods. When I'm done, so let me show you when that's done. When I'm done at the end, I put how long it actually took. So I went to change the mission page to the about page. I estimated it would take an entire 25-minute period, which is crazy. I don't know why I said it would take that long. It only took me half of that time, probably less than half of it. So now I can go back and see what I estimated. For this, everything that's done, I've estimated 7.5 cycles, and it's only taken me 6. So it gives me a good idea. The more I do this, the closer I get. So I'm able, when somebody comes to me, like, when my boss or the head of my department comes in and says, how long is it going to be? I can look at all these to-dos and how much I have left. And I say, okay, I have 39, 7. So I can add this section up, and I know about how long it's going to take me before the site is finished. And that's really cool. There's some other cool charting stuff you can do with this. I don't really use that a lot. I imagine it would be more helpful maybe if you're on a team. But this has really helped me to get my estimates, kind of on target. That was always the hardest thing for me, especially when I was like freelancing, when all my work was freelance work. It was really hard for me to try to get a handle on, how long is the project going to take. But this kind of forces me to estimate every little thing. And it's so much easier to estimate a small task than to try to estimate a big task. So if you break it down, estimate each one individually, and then add it all up, you'll be so much closer to an accurate number. Do you use calculator as billing? Okay, Claude B asks, do you use that to calculate your hours or billing or to get better at estimating? Yeah, okay, so pretty much everything. All of the above. It does work well. Actually, if I'm calculating my hours, this video is going to be a little longer, so I guess that's cool. Let's see. Do you think it's possible for a 15-year-old to make it in web design freelancing? Oh yeah, I think a 15-year-old could definitely get work. A guy that I used to work with a lot, and he actually got me. I wasn't doing web design for a lot. I got into it a little bit when I was in high school and done a little bit of work, and then I got away from it. I was actually teaching high school, and then I quit teaching. I did some stuff in the stock market for a little bit, and then this guy I went to high school with was doing web design stuff, and he needed somebody to work with. So he got me back into it, and he was awesome mentor, and got me introduced to a lot of good clients and a lot of experience. But he actually started when he was really young. He's a couple years younger than me, so he was maybe 15 when he got started, and he was doing work for. He has an uncle that has a marketing company, and he was doing work for his uncle as a teenager and making money. So definitely, just try to be as professional as you can be, and it can't hurt to ask, to propose things. Go around. You go around to local places. I don't recommend going on like kind of the freelancing job boards. To be honest with you, I haven't had much success with that. Usually, you don't really make a lot of money. People are outbidding a lot. So I kind of think it's better to just um, go out and try to get contacts, like actual personal contacts, either through the internet by talking to people on social media and forums and things, or in your local community. I've gotten the most clients and the best clients from my connections, my personal connections, and from referrals from other clients. I was trying to answer somebody else's question. Oh, okay. Somebody asked me about billing. Let me show you real quick, and this will probably be the last thing I go over. Let me show you how I track my projects. So I'm going to bring this over. And this is going to be small, but that's okay because you don't really need to see everything. But this might seem crazy to you, but for the university right now, every project that I've been working on has its own tab in this spreadsheet at the bottom here. So I put the date, the number of hours that I've worked, and then a quick summary of what I've done. These summaries are basically the same thing I put in my Git commits. And I have a total at the bottom. Now, for my job now, I don't get paid hourly, so this is basically just a way for me to keep track that if I have to go in for a performance review, I can say, this project brought in, so much money to the university. If you would have had to contract this out to somebody, it would have cost you so much money, if you were paying it hourly. So that's what this allows me to do. It's kind of nice to be able to go in and tell my boss, like, hey, you've saved a ton of money by hiring me and having me do this work. So that's I was already used to doing this for my clients on the side, so I just kept doing it when I started working here about 2 years ago. And it still comes in handy for me. And when I have clients, I actually just use that. Sorry, I flipped over. When I have clients, next to this number will actually be how much they're paying me. So if it is an hourly job, I'll just multiply this number by what the hourly rate is, and right here I'll have the amount they owe me. Usually I have some recurring clients, so each of these tabs would then be a month. So I would have one spreadsheet per client, and then each month they would get billed based on the total number here. So I hope that's helpful. There's probably better ways to do that, and I'm sure there are services that can do that, but we have to be extremely organized. Yeah, it's good to be organized when you do all this stuff. I guess you don't have to be. It depends on where you're working at, but it definitely helps. It for sure helps. If you're on your own, like, it really helps. Especially if you need to keep track of things for tax purposes, then the more documentation you have for everything, then it's better. Or if you ever if a client doesn't want to pay and starts asking you, well, what did you really do? Well, you have very detailed evidence of everything you've done on that site at that point. So I've run over a lot longer than I anticipated, and the chat's kind of slowing down, so I'm going to go. But have a great weekend. I'll be back on Monday, and thanks for watching.